Hi, I'm James Dunn. I'm a service technician over here at Power Fuels Heating and Air Conditioning. Today I'd like to show you how we perform a yearly inspection and tune-up on your residential oil boiler. The first thing we like to do is wear boot covers. And this is to guarantee a clean and professional atmosphere for our customers. Now if you'd like to join me, I'm going to go to the maintenance room. Alright, the first thing we do on a tune-up is we like to initially start the unit and inspect the way it runs. I'm looking, it's burning decent. There's no cracks in the heat exchanger. That's the first thing we do. So once I see that it's running good, there's no cracks in the heat exchanger, there's nothing I need to bring to the customer's attention right now, then I'm going to move forward with the tune. The first thing we like to do is we like to change all your oil filters and your nozzles. So we shut your oil supply off. Alright, now your oil's off. So now we took the old filter out. We like to spray out the filter canister itself of any sludge or debris that might be left over. We grab a brand new filter. So basically, I'm going to change all the gaskets. You see we got the new filter in there. Get the gasket seated. And once we got the filter back up, all your gaskets are replaced. We like to wipe the canister down pretty well. Spray it off with a little cleaner, degreaser. Make sure that's nice and dry. The second procedure, we service the oil pump. Basically, what I'm doing right here, I don't know if you want to come from over top here, is replacing a strainer and gasket in here. We do a brand new gasket with a brand new strainer. Get my strainer in place, and I see we have a good flow of oil. And then, again, after that, we like to spray a little bit of degreaser and wipe that off, so later on, before I leave, I can make sure that I have no leaks here either. Next thing we do, check the adjustment on the electrodes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this nozzle line to get to the electrodes. Now, this is what we call the nozzle assembly. Basically, what this does is this controls your gallonage per hour of runtime, and it also controls, it atomizes the oil correctly to control the BTU rating on the boiler. And what we do is we replace our nozzle see what the proper sizing is. So the proper sizing on this is a 85/60 degree solid. Clean it up. And then replace. Now we have many. We have every single nozzle out there. There's millions of these guys. And they're different for every unit. But this one, this is the nozzle that runs best with this, and which is part of the manufacturer's spec. That we're very precise on making sure that we run the proper and exact nozzle that the units were set up with from the factory for the most efficient efficiency to get from the unit. So after we get the nozzle in and we clean it up, clean up what we call the retention head, make sure there's no kind of buildup on this. Then we have what we call gauges, electrode gauges. And basically, we make sure that your electrodes are gapped properly. And which this one, they are gapped exactly proper. So, after knowing that, it's ready to go back in. The very next thing that I like to do after I replace the nozzle is we like to perform a pump pressure test. This is basically just to show us that your oil pump is actually functioning correctly, and if we needed to, we could adjust it if it's not operating that correctly. I have my gauge on there. I'm going to start the unit, and I'm going to see it's right at 150 pounds per square inch, which is perfect. So now I see my pump is good, it's not fluctuating, it went up gradual, and it's holding at a solid 150. Happy. Now I'm going to shut the unit back off. One last thing I want to do before I start vacuuming the boiler is I just want to flush the nozzle line out. Okay, make sure the oil comes out clear, make sure it's a nice steady stream, because I don't want to send dirty oil through my brand new nozzle. Alright. So that right there was the servicing of the oil burner itself. Alright, so now we're going to brush and back out the unit. This is your heat exchanger. These sections are where the water is stored for the boiler, and then the fire inside heats this water up. These fingers you see right here, these are what hold the heat down instead of letting it all go through the chimney and out the and outside. So it's going to hold, you know, heat, which is going to make it more efficient. So what we like to do is, because like I said before, that 1/8 of an inch of soot right there, that acts as an insulator against the cast iron. So what we want to do is we want to remove that. So with a vacuum and a brush, basically we're going to brush out the section. Now that that's back on, we like to make sure everything's nice and tight. So I'm going to tighten them down, and I'm even going to make sure these other ones I put on are tight. Give everything a last check, because it's very important that you seal this off very well. Alright, so that's set. Now we put the cover back on. Alright, so the next part of properly brushing and vacuuming a residential oil-fired boiler is we remove all pieces of the flue pipe, and which is the part of where the flue gases are exited from the house. So we like to make sure there's no restriction. We like to make sure there's no soot buildup. We like to, you know, look at the pipe, see the condition of it, make sure that it's solid. You know, there's no holes, it's not rotted, except for, you know, there is always one hole that is made for an efficiency test, in which I will show you guys the reasoning for later. But we want to make sure there's no rot. You know, this is all fairly new, and there is no rot on it. And we did inspect the chimney. We're clear through the chimney. And then we also will perform a draft test at the end of the day, at the end of the cleaning here. So basically what I want to do now, I'm going to start my vacuum back up. By code, you're supposed to have 3 screws per joint on the smoke pipe. So what I want to do is, you know, the screws that I took out to properly take the smoke pipe apart, I want to replace them. So what I'm going to do, so now I'm all set with that. What I want to do now is, I can see where this flue pipe goes into the chimney, and it looks like it's got some cracks in it. And it looks like it might need to be touched up. So all of us technicians carry what we call furnace cement, and it basically cures with heat. And what we do is, when it's cracked like that, we like to put new cement around it. So that's what I'm going to do now. I like to just throw a little cement around there. This way I know that flue gases can't enter in the house through here either. Got a nice coat of cement around the pipe. I see that there's not any more cracks. It's in there well. I'm not worried about that coming out. Or there again, combustibles coming into the house. So now we're all set with that. The next thing I like to do is, we all carry cleaner. We like to clean our units after. We definitely stress making the work area cleaner when we leave than when we got here. I'm going to look at my circulators. These are all new style Takeo circulators. So I see that there is no oilers on these. So there's nothing I have to oil. So now we cleaned everything off. Now I like to check the water pressure, make sure we have sufficient water in the boiler, in which we do. Alright, so we're here. We gave the unit a complete cleaning. Now we're gonna set up the burner by eye, which I already had done, and now what I want to use is, at Power Fuels we use all the newest efficiency metering devices out. These are UEI. They come, you know, they got a certificate of calibration. They're very, you know, state of the art. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to perform what we call a smoke test. I want to make sure that it's burning clean. In which we have a zero smoke. So now we know we're burning clean. Now that I'm burning clean, now what I want to do is I want to plug in my efficiency test. It takes a couple seconds, and then what we do is we print out our results. What I do is I print out 2 copies. I have one to come back to the office with to show my manager what the results was on the cleaning, because it's very important to the management that they know that we have things running properly and efficiently out in the field. So I make 2 copies, one for the manager, and then I put one on your boiler so you can see yourself the readings that we got. This unit right here is running at 80.5% efficient, which is very, very well for this model boiler. I'm going to print one out. I'm going to print 2 out. And basically this is what they look like. It has a company name on the top. It has the technician's name and the number. And what I do with this is I take one of our magnets and I like to stick it to the side of your boiler. It also has date and the time it was done. This one is the one that goes back to the office, and basically what we do is we write the customer's name, we write the appliance, and we do a serial number and a model number on this, and this will go back to the office in the customer record, in the customer file for the records on that unit, because we do keep very detailed records here of Power Fuels heating and air conditioning. And that right there is a yearly tune-up and inspection. All we basically do at the end is check our filters, no leaks, and like I said, we will clean the boiler rooms, and we try to make them nicer when we leave than they were when we came. Thank you.